Good morning, folks. This is Deb, and I'm just inviting everybody out there on social media and beyond to just shut the fuck up and take a collective breath, okay? So here we are, and what I see the most prevalent posts are today on social media are the 10 traitors in the Democratic Party who refuse to shut the government down. So let me tell you where I come down in all of this. There's also, as an aside, but as part of the story, an article in Politico this morning about Paul Dans. Now, anyone who knows anything about Project 2025 knows that Paul Dans was the primary architect of that document. And he's ready to take his victory lap because this is going better than he ever imagined. I want to point out to you one thing. It's going better than he could ever have imagined because there's only one party responsible for where we are, and it's not the Democrats. We need to focus our anger on the fascist party. I'm not even going to call them Republicans anymore. They're the fascist party, flat out, okay? And as I went down this road of, shutting the government down, not shutting the government down, I began talking to people, some on social media, some outside of social media. And a couple of things struck me. And it didn't necessarily turn me away from shutting the government down, but it made me more ambivalent about this whole process going either way. Because either way, this whole thing sucks. Okay? This is going to be a battle because we are not dealing in normal times. Two things struck me. Number one, shutting the government down could essentially result in the court shutting down, or maybe at the very least, the courts operating less efficiently than they have been. And they are one of the biggest pieces of leverage we have against this fascist coup. Okay? The second thing is, there's a reason why the Republicans would have preferred a shutdown. Because it would give Donald Trump and Elon Musk a bigger opportunity to continue looting the American people. There's a possibility that veterans wouldn't get any of their benefits. There's a possibility that we wouldn't have gotten our Social Security checks, which gives Donald Trump and Elon Musk a bigger advantage. Folks, let's think logically here. Do you have problems with some Democrats? Because I do. But that's what primaries are all about, okay? I'd love to see Fetterman gone for his next term. As far as I'm concerned, when you go to Mar-a-Lago as a sitting senator, you are a traitor, okay? You can visit the President of the United States when he's in the White House. No need to travel to enemy territory, okay? No need. Fetterman can go. Alyssa Slotkin, whining about how she just wants things to be normal. Well, Alyssa, you're going to have to adjust your thinking because things aren't fucking normal. Okay? They're not. We are in the middle of a fascist coup right here. And, I see the mainstream media and, quite frankly, some of the alternative media jumping on the Democrats are in disarray bandwagon. That's actually not entirely true. They're already talking together about what the next steps are. Because that's what needs to be done. Everybody knew that this was going to be a battle. And you know what? I'm a huge fan of AOC and Jasmine Crockett. But that doesn't mean I agree with them every single time. And I started thinking about this notion that if we shut the government down, it will force the GOP to do its job and present a real budget. No, it won't. I don't believe that that's the case now. Because you know what? The GOP is doing its job. Because the GOP is fascist. And they see their job as delivering Donald Trump whatever he wants. If we shut the government down, do you really think the Republicans are going to regroup and present a real budget? Do you really think that? Because I in no way think that that would have been a possibility. They would have turned around and blamed this on the Democrats because right now they're blaming the economy on Joe Biden, who's been gone since November, left us a great economy to work with. Not perfect, but a great economy to work with. And all of this nonsense is on Donald Trump. The market is failing because it doesn't have any faith in the economy. And it doesn't have any faith in what Donald Trump's economic policies are. So let me explain something to you. As far as the Republican Party or the fascist party is concerned, they are doing their job. They're doing exactly what Donald Trump wants because they see that as their job. The Speaker of the House is a Christo-fascist. Period. End of story. Okay? What we should be sharing today is not pictures of the traitor Democrats, but the fact that there is a march going on in Washington right now. And they're headed to the Heritage Foundation. And it's being run by veterans. And nobody in the media is covering it. But there are posts out there that we should be sharing all over social media today in celebration of that march and so that people know what's going on. Okay? What we also should be doing is talking about the fact that there are 3 seats in the House up that the Democrats can win. 2 in Florida on April 1st. Gay Valimont in Florida 1. Josh Weil in Florida 6. Who are raising tons of money from the people. Okay? And let me explain something to you about Florida. More than 45% of their population is either from seniors 65 and older and immigrants. 2 of the groups being screwed the most by Donald Trump. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to pull even in the House if we can also win New York, which the date has not yet been set to replace Elise Stefanik. And the Republican Party is trying to keep her in the House as long as they possibly can because they know their majority is slim and they need her. They haven't even confirmed her for her UN position yet. Those are the things we ought to be sharing right now. We ought to be talking about these elections because you know what? It may just be Florida. But Florida used to be blue. And then it used to be a swing state. And then it flipped completely red. But right now, we have an opportunity. And we have to remember one thing. Everybody that gets elected in the people's house and everything that they vote on after they're elected affects everybody in the nation. So whether you live in Massachusetts or New York or California, what happens in Florida matters at a time like this. There's nothing to stop you from phone banking from California for somebody running in Florida. There's nothing to stop you writing postcards from Massachusetts for somebody in Florida. I wrote postcards for New Hampshire during the 2022 midterms from Massachusetts. We all have a role to play here that goes beyond bitching on social media. And let me remind you of one thing. The reason we are where we are right now, none of this had to happen, is that 90 million eligible voters chose not to participate. This cannot happen again, okay? It cannot. And I know from my own personal conversations with people on TikTok, on Facebook, and in my real world realm, that a lot of these people were Democrats because it was too much of a shit show. Well, right now, it's a real shit show. And it's a scary shit show. And it's a fascist coup. And it's all hands on deck. So as I've said, you're unhappy with some Democrats? Go for a primary. I'm all for it. But right now, we need to be fighting the common foe. And that is the fascist GOP. I'll talk to you all later.